Today, I'd like to talk about phrasing through language. A lot of us learn the notes of our songs and we play them perfectly, but they still don't sound particularly interesting. How can we make them sound interesting, or what a lot of people would call musical? Well, it's really very, very simple. All you have to do is think of language. How do we talk? If this thing you are playing, if it had words, where would the commas and the periods be? Where would your voice rise and fall like we usually do when we talk? Sometimes we speed up our words and sometimes we slow them down. If you use this while you're thinking of your piece of music, you can make up all kinds of wonderful phrases that will make it very interesting. So I'm going to show you a few examples. The first example is a very familiar little minuet by Bach that almost everybody plays. And I'm going to play it first like most people do before they learn to think about language. They would go. Okay, notes were perfect, rhythm was perfect, but it was sort of, right? So where would the commas be? Where would the periods be? Where would I raise my voice or lower my voice or slow it down or speed it up? So now I'm going to try something a little different. So that was one way to simply make a very simple song sound more interesting. So usually, a lot of times our songs, our pieces, they have natural pauses in them that make it obvious. Where is the comma? Where is the period? But sometimes it's not so obvious because the notes keep going. So I'm going to play a little waltz by Schubert, which never stops, at least most of the time. Where am I going to make my sentences in this one? Here I go. This is first, just playing. Okay, now I'm going to try to put some commas, periods, and my vocal changes as if I were speaking. What are the words saying in this song? I might have to make up some words to give me inspiration. So let me think. So I think I made some words that you could tell the difference in, and I thought about maybe the sentence was going somewhere from the first one all the way through the end. Sometimes we have our pauses, but we have a lot of repeated notes. So or repeated phrases, where it's the same thing over and over. If this happens, you should use the rule of repetition, which says never do it the same way twice. So I'm going to do something by Haydn called Little Dance. First, I'm going to play it just plain. here's the thing. There's 3 notes, actually 4 in a row that are the same exact note. How will I make them sound more interesting? Don't play them the same. Then when this happens, you have to ask yourself, is it building up? Is it letting down? Is it doing a combination? Is it going to speed up because it's more exciting? Is it going to slow down because it's ending? You must ask yourself these questions. In this case, these 4 C's that I have in a row, I think they're building up to something. So I'm going to make them build up to a climax and then let it come down. And then I'm going to do, again, the same phrase happens twice. So then I'll do it again. But this time I might try to change it just a little bit because of the rule of repetition. So this will be the first one. Things I did, except for the slurs, were marked in there. I just decided, based on what I thought words might be saying, if this had words, which is what I usually ask myself, if this song had words, what would they be saying? I might change my mind and do it a different way. And that brings us to another thing that one can think about. And that is what I call the phrase arch. Most phrases or groups of notes that come together, that stay together in a group, most of them start at a point, build up to some point, and then relax. That's just like the way we speak most of the time. Most of our sentences start somewhere, build up, and then relax. So it doesn't matter if it's slow notes. It doesn't matter if it's fast notes. Now I'm going to play a little bit of something called Alligretto by someone called Godard. And this is going to be a lot of notes going by. But if you listen, the notes aren't as important as the words. So I will play just a little bit of this. So I hope that this gives you a few ideas on ways to make your music more interesting. Just think, if it had words, what would they be saying? Would they be happy, jumpy, sad, slow, smooth, anything? Where would the commas be? Where would the periods be? Periods usually mean we slow down, right? And make a gap. Commas do the same thing, but not as much. Where would we put our louder and softer? Not just the ones that they wrote on the paper, but to make it sound like our speaking. If you do those things, you're going to probably end up with a really beautiful piece.